And we are live once again. This is Prez, and I'm joined today by Caitlin Burns, Senior Director of Story at Candid Digital. How's it going, Caitlin?
It's going well. I'm really excited to be here with you again. We were just chatting about how long it's been since the last time I was here.
That's right.
For me, it doesn't feel that long. Time like contracts and expands when I'm really heads down working. So
Ooh.
I have like linear time where I have to know what day of the week it is for like
Mm,
personal life reasons.
yeah,
But one meeting can be 8 hours or 3 weeks or 10 seconds long, depending on its content. And, I think, I kind of measure some of these milestones in, the last time we brought new challenges to life versus now.
mm,
And I'm
yeah,
like, I know that there's been some waiting and I feel that on my side too, but we're always building towards what's coming next when we're doing that at the same time. All right, rambling
no,
rants.
no, absolutely. I was gonna I was gonna fork into the kind of like, is this a hint on time travel or something like that? But obviously, that is no, yeah, that is something different. But I just want to
Yeah,
welcome the audience.
yeah.
So we got Michael, we got Frank, who's going with the videos. Andy, like nice and early. How's it going, everybody? So, Caitlin, obviously, you start off at each video with obviously a disclaimer, right? Yeah.
Sure. And hello to everyone. Yeah, I'm happy to talk about why there are like specific disclaimers about what I can talk about with my work and why. But in general, I can't provide advice or state information that has anything to do with the value of collectibles or speculation on that.
Hmm.
I also can't be pitched story ideas or narratives directly. And
Yep.
that's something that's true for anyone who's working in the creation of content at large IP companies. So, like, if you're working at a studio, you may be under the same precautions. Like, if people pitch you content, it can be considered like a business activity rather than a personal conversation.
Mm.
And there are legal implications for that. So, one of the things I'm always trying to build, and the line that it is so exciting to figure out how to build is
Mm.
how can we get insights and activity from the fan community
That's right.
and build those into the experiences we're creating
Hmm.
while still respecting the needs and requirements of working on a really established intellectual property story world like Batman, Gotham City, DC Comics. It's something that you'll also hear for like Warner Brothers and DC executive conversations or writers who are currently working on films, comics, television, whatever, because all of these legal parameters are built around how IP is structured and what are the permissions and licenses granted by the businesses with the authority to work on it, and how can that be protected to make sure that the integrity of the story itself can be maintained, but also that the integrity of the system where artists and writers are
Protected.
given the opportunity to support themselves
Right.
doing this work. So for me, the philosophy of like, I'm going to upfront say, I can't speak to these things. Please don't do this
Mm.
specific kind of conversation to me in this, fairly public venue, is one where I'm saying like, these are the boundaries that if I cross, I have to make decisions that are about supporting
Mm.
my family and the business I'm working with and protecting the jobs of everyone who's working to get you the features you want and to build these cool experiences. And that's really where these boundaries come from.
Of course.
It's an area where it is a genuine, fascinating challenge to
Yeah.
figure out how to work with existing systems to
Yes.
make them more open.
Right.
But, we're a business that makes experiences that have collectibles associated with them. There are particular frameworks for that.
Hmm.
And at the end of the day, we're actually doing novel and exciting things and they're operating well, and that works because we have parameters that we respect.
Hmm. I mean, I guess a follow on for that is
Mhm.
like, you mentioned to me once like any
Yeah.
idea that's shared in a public forum it's free, free game. But something that I guess is directly pitched to you would be one of those ones you would run away from, like as soon as
Yeah,
possible. Yeah, yeah.
like if you were to walk up to, like, think about like Jim Lee or Frank Miller.
Right.
If you
Let's do
walk
that.
up to them and you tell them their comic idea, it creates a circumstance where what you're presenting to them is presented like it falls into a different legal category of operations.
Mhm.
Like if you're just in conversation and talking about things, or you share something publicly, it's sort of set up differently. And I know this is really like legal detail nuance conversation points. Like I get
Absolutely.
very nerdy about it
That's okay.
because
Mhm.
in my life working with big studios and big stories, I've been trying to figure out some of these questions of how do we make them open? How do these systems work most effectively? How
Mhm.
can we make sure that like the way that ultimately representatives of a business communicate with fans is the most open and respectful both ways that it can be. And it's not easy, but it's important, exciting, and honestly really fun when it's happening well.
Yeah,
So it you'll
yeah.
every time I'm talking about something, like, I can talk about things we've already announced. Super easy because we've refined the details. Like, we know that the production is complete. I'm not going to accidentally like do something that causes a bug in a technical process to like delay everything by months. Like, that's something where we want to
Mhm.
make sure we're protecting the teams that are building everything so
Mhm.
that they can provide the best work possible without the additional stress of like disappointing an audience that's expecting something. And then production, creative and technical, is an art. Like that there's
Yeah.
skills and processes in it, but it's also an art. And until things are really ready, you don't know when they will be. You want to build in enough time as a respectful like producer and planner that there's room for things to change if it shows that something better is possible, but also to make sure that they're the most stable and complete they can be. So I can talk about anything we've announced because we're certain it's going to happen the way that we've said, to the degree that we provide detail.
Mhm.
And if I accidentally say something that isn't happening yet or ends up being delayed, it disappoints everyone I've said it to, and it potentially causes stress that is harmful to people I'm working with. So
The butterfly effect,
again,
kind of the scenario, right?
yeah,
Like kind of. I think,
totally.
yeah, no, I think definitely what we want to understand, particularly myself, is how can we be working in a, say, when I say working, how can we be co-creating together in a manner that the expectations are set, but also convey the ideas to not just you but the creative team in a way that you guys won't be put in a spot, as we
No
said.
worries.
So yeah,
For the
definitely.
In general, the way that we are, like, if you're adding us on things, it's chill. Like, please don't present a business proposition to us, and that includes like narratives. But
Sure.
we're also actually at work developing more ways for the community to have a voice within the system.
Oh wow.
And that's something that we have more opportunities to do that now that we've migrated to the Candy platform.
Yeah.
So I can't talk about them yet, which is like exhausting for everyone in this conversation.
That's
But
cool, but it's
in the next in the next short, like actually reasonable period of time, I think I'm really excited about what's coming up in the near term. We'll be able to talk to the community more about the ways we can invite you in to that conversation, the direct ways you can communicate to us in formats that like are friendly to everyone who needs to be involved in the system of the business that we're running, and the story that we're building. And it, things are never as opened or closed as anyone is truly comfortable or happy with. Like, that's the reality of collaborative work and collaboration between organizations and and fans. Like,
Mhm.
there will always be something that we couldn't do. There's always be something we have to lock down, and trying to find as many ways to bring people into the conversation and give them the opportunity to share and the opportunity for us to build from that is our goal. you know? So I'm like, yeah, I'm also a parent, and I'm like, this compromise feels very familiar because, like,
Yeah.
there are some things where it's like, no, we've got to be very, very firm. Other times where it's like, okay, no, this is something where no one feels completely happy, but we're all pretty happy with it. And the more of that we can do, the more trust is built, the more the frameworks like flow well over time and can grow.
Well, definitely, we're looking forward to that,
Mhm.
and really appreciate you guys always being responsive. Like the night watch is alive 24/7. It feels like you guys are too. Well, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
usher in the audience.
Mhm.
You can say hi to
Yeah.
everyone. Um,
Hi, hello. I really appreciate all of you who are staying up to watch this live. I'm so like, one, Mr. Ward and Straith both say hello to both you, Perez, and to the community. We really feel incredibly blessed, the privilege of being able to work with you all as a community, the opportunity to connect with you directly and speak, the fact that you want to speak with us and be part of these experiences that we're building together. Like, it is such a treasure and an honor. And we really try to be available when we can. We try to make sure we're presenting as much accurate and timely information as we can. And like, we want to respect you all enough to not tell you things that ultimately change in a way that makes them inaccurate. Yeah, and again, I'm like, I'm always talking about talking like conservative approach to it, but we don't want to create a situation where you can't trust the communications that they're talking about. And we want to make sure that when we are getting excited and sharing it with you all, we're as clear as we can be with it, because a lot of the ideas that are presented by these sort of large community driven story experience collectible structures, like, they're complex, and trying to be clear and provide the details that people need to make decisions, the amount of story that's going to be most exciting, that's told over time, because we're really talking about experiences that are told in real time together,
yeah,
to give you
absolutely.
all enough to play with, and also leave enough time for our partners at DC to be creating as well. It's a lot of dance, and we want to make sure we're being very deliberate in how we talk about it, in respect to everyone in the whole fun thing.
Well, I was gonna ask you actually, like, how have you been since the merger? I know we when we last spoke, there was a lot of things that's like kind of, I guess, gearing up for it and behind the scenes that you couldn't even announce at the time, and you were trying
Oh,
to tell me in the last video, and I was just like, I was rewatching the video. I was like, poor Kate, she was probably working on a ton of things that's waiting for this to happen, and things are
yeah.
going pretty fast, pretty nicely in my opinion, but how was it? How are you?
I'm
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm really good. I think the merger of Palm NFT and Candy Digital, it's almost been, I think, almost a year since we announced it. All of the preparation for that and all of the conversation around that happened, before the announcement.
Mhm.
And in practice, there's always different work streams that we're working on. Like, any business has to run itself, and I'm thankful that my job at this business is mostly about creating story and creating experiences for you all. In the
Mhm.
past, I've run businesses, I've been a producer, which is a lot more operational. So we're always making sure that we can actually make the things we're making.
Mhm.
There's a lot, like, last year, a lot of what we were working on was making sure that we understood what the migration would mean, and making sure that we had enough going on in our experiences that could go on while the technical teams were working really hard on those features and that work. And I cannot give them enough credit for the energy and the detail and the care they've put into that process. And now that the migration has happened, in January, we really started being able to
Absolutely.
work with our DC fans and our DC experiences on the site, to be
Mhm.
able to take some things that we hadn't been able to do on platform, like our achievements, the crew ranks, the experiences, and really weave them together in a lot more like sensible ways. And you'll see that throughout 2024, we're moving more onto platform. We're making sure that all of the systems are, you know, clearer, less spread out. It's going to mean a much more smooth, effective experience for you all as you're on your journeys in Gotham City in real time. And it
Mm,
means we get to play with different types of experience because there were different features that we didn't have on our old systems
mhm.
that we're really excited about now. For example, Overdrive that we've beta
Yes,
tested, and we're bringing some events out with that for Legacy Kells. Of course, the Batman Year One Merge and Bind event is our first Merge and Bind. Like, I'm so excited about this. Not only is it an amazing story about Batman's first year as a vigilante, but
mm,
this is a great moment for us because we're
yes,
not just releasing chapters of a story, like the volume is going to be able to be made at the end. So
mm,
for those of you who are collecting your issues, you'll be able to merge your core Batman Year Ones into bound volumes that'll have variant covers. And that's honestly really exciting to me.
absolutely.
Um,
Yes.
it's also it's great to be working with a community because we can get very excited about things, but we're probably working creatively weeks to months ahead of things, and so by the time we've all gotten excited, like, we really need to make sure it's exciting to everyone and we're communicating it really well because we've been working on it in detail, getting everyone to understand it in meetings and in our documentation, but making sure that there's enough of that for it to be really clear. And we really appreciate everyone who participated in the Overdrive Beta's contributions to the survey. We're
Yes.
working with those responses now to improve the Overdrive system. That's
Yes.
something that will take time, but we are improving over time this year.
Well, I wanted to just spotlight. I will come back to that point. Oh, my dog just walked in the room.
No
Um,
worries.
yeah.
Mine will
Um,
probably walk in pretty
yeah,
quickly.
she just burst in. Um,
Yeah.
no, I was gonna highlight just Batman 4. I've actually yet
Mhm.
to make it. I mean, even I'm busy as a
Oh yeah.
like a part-time content creator. I'm like, oh my god, like there's so much going on right now. But obviously,
Yeah.
just um for the fans, there's actually bonus ads,
So these
exclusive
are
bonus ads.
really
Yeah.
these are gorgeous historical advertisements. Like,
Yes.
these are amazing pieces of art, and it's the first time we've been able to include this kind of artwork
Mm,
with a DC comic.
yes.
You'll see those in your epic and legendary rarities, but these are honestly really special pulls from the archive. Like, we
Mhm,
wouldn't throw advertisements in just for the sake of it, but I love the design on these pages. And
absolutely.
that was like, you'll see them in 404, 405, 406, and 407. Like, they're different pieces for each collectible.
Uh,
But
yeah.
just looking at these, the impact of them, like, as art, they are so spectacular. And telling that story and the enthusiasm around the first release of Batman Year One, it sort of gives you a feeling and a moment in that, in a way that's really, I mean, I find it personally very exciting and impactful.
Yeah.
But you'll see more of this as next week's drops occur, and it's just, we're trying to find ways to bring the behind the scenes content and the content from the DC archives to the DC3s, because we don't, like, you don't get the same thing on DCUI. You
Absolutely.
don't get an opportunity to see, collect, and have this art in a present way on other platforms. Like, this is just a value that's a unique element of collecting DC3s. Um,
Absolutely. I was gonna say as well, like this has got for the epic, it's got this, you'll notice that if you own it, it's
yeah.
got a bonus. So this is the bonus for the epic, and then this is the bonus for the legendary.
Mhm.
Same for the other one. Um yeah, so you'll see that this is a bonus for the epic, but for the
Yeah.
legendary you get a bonus advert, which is that one, which I don't have. So I couldn't see it, but I
Yeah.
could see it from the drop page. But I thought, yeah, I'll just highlight it. But yeah, go
And
ahead.
I
Yeah.
just want to say, like, we also try and respect the fact that everyone has lives outside of this project,
Yes.
including the people working on it. Like, and we, again, just feel so honored by the amount of time and the amount of interest and excitement that the fans and the community have for these programs. Like it is really wonderful to see. We really respect it. We also recognize that we want to create enough time between things to respect that life exists. Like it really, we talk a lot about the timelines for things. And again, we just want to make sure we're not overloading people while still providing enough interesting stuff for people to engage with.
Yeah, so she just barged in the room, so she's now here. I can't
I
show it.
feel like you need
It'll
to,
mess my camera. Yeah, but
if you can, at some point, dog tax. But I understand logistics of dog taxing is complicated.
um, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
if in your own words, what
Mhm.
are the experiences available in Kenny.com/DC that you think is different from a regular DC fan experience, and how would you tell it to somebody that, let's say, is walking around the convention or is just a
Yeah.
regular DC fan? How would you say?
I mean, realistically, we're the only place where you get to have your own journey in Gotham City as part of the story world.
Absolutely.
You're collecting in-world objects, like even our DC3s are stolen from the Gotham City Hall of Records.
Wow.
It's
Ooh,
this is a
yes.
different kind of participation
Yes.
where we're combining the fun of superfan experiences, the excitement of collecting comics and comic art,
Yes.
with the opportunity to be a part of that world and be a part of the creation of a unique story world in it. With
Mm.
the Batcal community votes for Batman and Legacy Cal, you all determined the path of the story world we're creating together. And we're building it with DC artists and writers and editors. You all get to play in experiences and quizzes and be a part of the different ranks, or the different crews with different ranks and different opportunities. And that is actually a unique thing
Oh,
for
okay.
anything in DC. Like you can be Batman in an Arkham Asylum game and navigate him around, but you all become your own
Hero.
selves
Yeah.
in Gotham City when
Yes.
you have a Bat Cowl, when you're collecting legacy cowls, when you are holding a Harley Quinn charm in your hands, and that's something that we again have an incredible opportunity and privilege to grow together.
Hmm.
And bringing that community voice into the development of what comes next in the ways we currently can and the ones that we're going to be sharing with you all as we continue to grow and develop these programs on the Candy platform. It's something I've been working towards for my entire career. Without putting timelines on that, it's been a long process
Hmm.
to be able to find the opportunities, the technology, and the creative interest to take what we know is true about fans who really love to explore their story worlds, to be part of these stories, and to live their lives in a way that's inclusive of the
Mm.
story worlds that they love.
Mm.
Um, it's a more intimate relationship than just promoting something to an audience.
Absolutely.
The
Yes.
tools to get feedback and develop from it are better than they've ever been. And honestly, the digital collectibles within that provides a sustainable model that alternate reality games have never had, that fan experiences traditionally have lacked. And
Mm.
without going into more depth on that, it's a really interesting new business type, a new
Yeah.
way of talking about it, and builds on some of the most exciting parts of what have been fan experiences that large stories have developed in the past. And again, just we are so thankful and appreciative of the time and energy that those of you who are still with us, who are joining us, who are have left and come back to the programs and experiences we're building, have given us
Mm.
as your participation, your engagement, your insights. And again, this is a big journey. A
Mm.
lot of the goals are not short term, they're big picture goals. And while
Absolutely.
we're always trying to find the most exciting ways to be able to bring you all new collections, new ideas, new story points, it's really about building this big story world together.
Absolutely. I was gonna say, just my, like, for example, my personal immersion and the community's immersion into this whole thing, I think adds a layer that is unprecedented. I'm not gonna lie, like, I took a 2 week holiday, and I checked my phone now and again. Obviously, and I was there for the Legacy Cow launch, and I felt like I left the world, like and I re-entered the
Yeah.
world. It really is that insane. Like, it's like, okay, so what are you doing then? What is that? What is that pack cow? What is that like? And you kind of go, okay, you want to take a seat because I'm about to tell you something really crazy. Like,
And
because it is that, like, I think the community aspects, the Discord, they add that
yeah.
layer to it. And then when you mention co-creation, that's why you're probably so, all right, okay, but this is what we need to work with. I know we're moving fast, but these are where we need to stop, or we need to go, okay, share it in a public space. And that's why I think we led with that in the video, just because we're like,
Yeah.
hang on a second, this is where we are, and we're gonna probably keep going. But yeah,
Yeah.
what are
And
those things that we need to do?
there's really no reason to do this without the community and fans. That's really the point. And it's the point from everyone at Candy, DC, Warner Brothers Discovery. Like, it's the core of why we're doing what we're doing. Um, Beyond that, like, there have been experiments in this kind of collaborative storytelling. You see a lot of it in like book publishing, where people have created a cool world that they bring other people into, or permit creative license to other authors. Alternate reality games, like we pull a lot from the history of alternate reality games, and sort of these digital and physical fan experiences, or like weird media experiences. We've also like a Death in the Family. We've done
Yeah,
some comic votes before, but
yeah,
being able to combine all of these experiences into one experience and sort of business idea is truly novel. Like, it's the most access into a single story world that I know of any fan group having. And I say that really to honor it, to honor the commitment of everyone who's come, but also just to reflect that, like, it is a corporate experience. Every experience has ups and downs. And, it's sort of like we want to greet you open heartedly when you arrive with us, when you share with us. If you leave the programs for a while, we will, wish very well, but also they have to be big enough to allow people to leave and return, or leave and new people to join. And that's part of a healthy community story program. We never want to see people leaving, but we also recognize that life exists. Some of the things we're working on right now might not appeal as much as other things. And our goal is to grow this, to continue to create really exciting stories in the world, to add new members and fans to the community, and to make sure that we're giving everyone enough of what you enjoy, you love about what we're doing, but also continue to experiment with new features, experiences, technologies. They're going to keep it exciting, keep it responding to what's possible and what's desirable to the audience and the fans. And it's complex because when we first launched in with Fandom in 2021, that was years ago now,
mm,
and we have to make sure that we're staying fresh and exciting with the things that we're creating, that we have enough flexibility to listen and respond and build things over time. Because I would really love it if I had a magic wand that anything that we imagined magically came to life immediately, exactly as
exactly.
I
Ex-
hoped.
exactly. Some, like me
But
from
yeah,
Discord, someone from Discord just going, "Oh, that's a
yeah.
cool idea, Caitlin."
Oh,
Ching,
and
like, yeah.
and like if you ask audience member or fan Caitlin, I'm like, no, like give it to me now. Like and even sometimes creative Caitlin's like, no, this shouldn't take that long. But like if I think in terms of producer Caitlin, or like human Caitlin who cares about the people that we're working with, and that includes the fans and community, it's like, no, we need to take the full amount of time it's going to take to get this right, to develop it well over time, to not rush something that we want to build from over time. So I'm like, that's the tension of a creative business and a production of creative technology, that ultimately, like, it takes time to do well, to test, to make sure that we're developing sanely. And there are always tensions between the different things we want to do at different times. So, like, we're always making sure that we're balancing what production can bear, so that
Mhm.
we're making good tools that can be improved on and grown over time, and that we're not taking features to market before they're ready. Because the last thing anyone needs is like, there's a great Gabe Newell quote. Delays are temporary, suck is forever.
Well, thankfully, and I was gonna say this myself. Like, thankfully, I'm still around to still be enjoying this as I did. So I think we're all stumbling forward and also succeeding forward. I've seen this platform evolve so much.
Right.
Um, yeah, absolutely. So should we play a game, a buzzword game? So what I was gonna do is I was gonna bring up everything that sprung from a Batcal, everything that
Hmm.
sprung from a box, a Harley box, and everything that sprung from a Legacy Cal so far. And I think we could do that because it's already out, and you can say as little or as much as you want, and
Sure.
yeah, it's a fun game.
Okay.
So yes,
Lightning round. Da 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 da
yeah,
da 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 da
yeah,
da
that's
da
right.
da da
So
da.
these are so far the crews existing in Gotham City, which is the Gotham City District Night Watch, the Harley Quinn crew, and the Legacy Cal crews. So
Mhm. Okay. All right. Throw it at me.
yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. So I was just gonna do a quick share.
Da 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 da
Everybody
da.
can see that.
All
So
right.
okay, so what we've got here is everything that's well. I'm sure I've missed some things, but oh, let me just close Discord. So these are the things that have sprung from a
Yeah.
backhoe so far.
Yeah, I mean, it is a good cross section. If folks have not spent some time just scrolling through the release notes and the 20 the like journey on candyupdates.com,
Yes.
I heartily recommend it.
Yes.
It was as exciting to write down everything that we had done to date in terms of experiences as it was to just like see it in its final form, just like giant list of cool stuff that all of our teams have been able to bring together. But what should I be answering here?
Well, yeah, no. So I was just gonna say, like, obviously, from a back cal, we've got
Mhm.
airdrops of, districts, sigils,
Mhm.
charms. We've had shipped a Robin Lives. I haven't received mine yet. A physical copy of Robin Lives.
So I'm going to do a shout out to the people who are putting together those mailings by hand individually. Like this is a real job, and the time it's taking
Oh,
is
wow.
truly like there are humans who are doing this work with us. So we really appreciate your patience. Huge shout out and thank you to the teams that are doing these mailings. It's really, figuring out how to get our physical objects and these shipping things together is a huge point of conversation and business practice. And again, a lot of the time things are slow because people are actually making sure it's being done right and accurately and well, and that takes time. It's much easier with digital systems. But
Yeah.
when I look at this, there are huge parts of story here. For the Bat Cowls, it's your individual cowl, your unique entry point into Gotham City. The charms. I Harley Quinn is obviously one of my favorites, and the opportunity to be able to tease the Gotham City District Night Watch with some of these charms to reflect the years of history that Harley Quinn has celebrated in that year of our drop. I was of an age when she first came to life in Batman the Animated Series. So it's sort of, she has grown with me as I have turned into an adult. And hang on, you've seen the Gotham Fall Yet Do trailer?
No, I haven't
So,
actually. Is that the
okay,
newest one? Oh, okay, good.
coming out in October, the sequel to The Joker with Joaquin Phoenix and Lady
Yes.
Gaga. Chills, like almost weeping. I'm so excited for this. And like knowing that it's a musical and honestly looking at how the story in that trailer is going to tie it. I'm so excited. But back to this. Okay, Harley.
Yeah.
That part of the story is in those charms. Of course, we see the Gotham City maps, which was some of the first times those areas of Gotham City were formally mapped. into the maps. Like you'll see a lot of DC maps online that follow the same forms and sort of canon truth of what's in the city. And being able to combine some of those was novel for us, and novel for DC. And getting access to those also super fun. First time we saw the Legacy Cal intruding into Gotham City systems. Little story points in each of that. You know, all of these stories have their own long-term plan and payoffs.
Hmm.
You know, and you know, of course, I see the Gotham City District Nightwatch sigils, which were our celebration of the first minters of Bat Cowls before the secondary marketplace opened. You know, these folks are the core leaders, and we gave them some exclusive roles in some of our crew experiences, but it's also just a recognition of who was there first, who were our first people on Gotham City District Nightwatch patrols. Um, a death in the family. I talked about a little earlier, but this was the first landmark time fans got to make a choice that impacted the story of a DC comic. And you had to dial in on a toll-free phone number or send physical mail to DC Comics. And if you think it takes a long time for us to do something based on your votes now, months between the time a vote was possible, the vote was delivered and received, counted, verified, and then actually integrated into a storyline. This was such an amazing comic and such an amazing like moment in the history of fan experiences. And you know, I'm so excited that there's the Death in the Family #1 is the DC3. If you haven't read that storyline, it will be fun when you do. I'll wait. You know, we won't go into it now, but like I'll be on Twitter and you can tell me what you think about it. Um, and then of course, Batman the Legacy Cowl, named by y'all, covers chosen by y'all, featuring a new DC supervillain, created with Dan Abnett, Pablo Collar, and your votes. The Legacy Cowl. You know, these are the first pieces of this story. And as your votes came together, we were able to create online experiences in that same story world. So
Yeah.
some of those were quiz like. A lot of it was the ranks that you all were able to earn that we are finally able to recognize with achievements on platform. So Batman Day was, of course, the first one. And, you know, you've gotten some retroactive achievements. We have a few more retroactive achievements that we want to give to people based
Okay.
on their past participation. You'll also see more achievements as things continue, now that all of our systems are in one place, that we're able to connect to experiences more seamlessly. And of course, the Batcow Collection Year One, whenever we're doing one of these big fan experiences or story experiences or weird media things that I've always loved, being able to reflect on what's happened, summarize what's happened, such a big part of what it means to move forward in these
Hmm.
programs, especially for new users,
Hmm.
for people who want to join in but weren't there on day one. How do you tell that story? So Batman Legacy Cal is part of that. The Batman Legacy Cal collection retrospective book showed so much of that first year. And again, like this time last year, hundreds of you submitted ideas, quotes, responses to a community poll, some of your quotes were able to be in that published collection.
Mm.
Again, like the time that the fans in the community spend engaging with us and helping us understand what you love, why you love, what you would love to see changed, like that is such a key part of everything we're doing. It does take time for us to be able to collect, compile, analyze, and apply all of that, even before you get to actually producing the things that we want to make from it. So again, like we so appreciate your contributions. We so appreciate your patience with us as we're building, because even if we had millions of people working on it, it would still take time to get projects together and improved, and honestly, to make sure that they're improved well and sustainably. And that's a huge part of why it takes the time it does for us to implement features, because there's a lot of care in that process. Um, yeah, I mean,
Mm. Yeah, I was just gonna
I
say
love you,
this.
Gotham City District Night Watch. You guys are the best.
You
You're
know, that's
keeping Gotham City safe.
no, no, absolutely. Because I see this as definitely a kind of like a hero experience so far, because
Yeah.
these are Batman's army, and so far these are the things that we got just by holding on to a Batcowl
Mhm.
from the start. So I just wanted like a visual
Uh,
glow up, and actually I couldn't even bring everything in.
no, I mean,
These are all individual items, so there's so many.
that's why there's a long scroll on the release notes on
That's
candyupdates.com.
it. That's it. And trying to like
But like
do it all in one.
it all is tied into the invitation from Batman to be a part of this story together. It's tied into what we can organize and provide as to super fans of Batman, and we continue to be committed to doing that, to be able to make sure everything is running well, that we can recognize fans and celebrate with them, and to make sure that your journey is in Gotham City, because once you put on that cowl, you're there, you're a part of the story in Gotham City. It's a really exceptional challenge and incredibly exciting program.
So
Um,
we forgot
yeah.
the buzzword though. We forgot the
Oh,
buzzword
what
there.
is the buzzword?
Yeah, the buzzword is like I say something, you say something around it. And I know
Oh,
you've done it, but
okay,
let's do that. Like just
let's do it.
for the
Yeah.
clips,
Okay.
for the clips.
All right.
Back house.
Invitation.
Okay. Districts.
Fun. No. um, you know, the world.
The world. Okay. I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. Sigils.
Generals, superstars, you know, banners. Yeah.
Okay. Legacy Cal physical.
Lots of blinking. No, incredible excitement.
Okay.
Yeah.
GCDK ranks.
Celebration.
Okay. I think we weren't to go to the next page.
Nice.
That's the Harley Quinn.
Rorschach test.
Yeah. That's it. So from the Harley Quinn crew, and this keeps popping up,
Yeah.
unexpected one. But basically, from the Harley boxes, we managed to get actually the Harley Quinn #1 comics, and then actually from the Bat Cow came out the Charms. But yeah, I guess that those are all part of the Harley Quinn crew. Um, but yeah, buzzwords.
Queen.
But
Queen of
buzzwords.
chaos.
Yeah, the Queen of Chaos. The Queen of
Uh,
Chaos. Harley Quinn, awesome boxes of mayhem.
surprise.
Surprise. Okay.
Surprise. I mean,
Surprise.
one, they're Jack in the Boxes. Two, the surprise was she was breaking all of our DC collectible comics out.
She was.
That reveal was something that we really thought a lot about in how we were inviting people to play as Harley Quinn crew, to play with the Gotham City District Night Watch, to create an incredible tension in the choice between whether or not you were going to try and foil Harley's plans or be part of Harley's plans. Like, honestly, yeah, I always try and build an experience that I will love.
Mm,
And I just, again, for those of you who RSVP'd for Mayhem with us on the launch of Harley Quinn Crew, who were part of that awesome one night story in Gotham City, like just super fun. Looking forward to ways to bring that sort of archive dated material to life again, but nothing, no timelines, no details on that kind of thing.
absolutely. Hang on to your
But
butt.
but
I said that. I
Harley
said
Quinn Crew is it's huge. Like, there are a huge number of Harley Quinn crew members. Um, a lot of the things that we have talked about for crews and continuing the ranks, we needed to get the legacy count. There are outstanding features that we are working on, but we have not forgotten how much we love Harley Quinn crew. How many of you are out there? We promise that there is more fun in store.
okay. Harley Quinn Charm Offensive.
Legendary. This was one of the first times anyone was able to create this kind of narrative on social media. Of course, there are amazing DC character accounts. We even were able to get some of our storyline onto the Harley Quinn account. That's also connected to the HBO series or Max series now. Sorry, but yeah, the opportunity for us to play with you all on these platforms to be able to create stories that connect through these third-party social media platforms is a lot also. So these are first, these are exciting moments that have happened for fans in the DC universe, but it's also like, when we go back in time to when Harley Quinn was first emerging in our story world in Gotham City, and now the stuff that she has done in parallel and that Harley Quinn crew has done in parallel to build our storylines, revealing the creepy robot codes, and things like that. It's so exciting to have multiple groups of players starting their journeys in Gotham City, participating in these stories that are all part of the same universe as Batman Legacy.
Finally, Harley Quinn crew ranks.
Celebrate! Yeah, I mean, the ranks are really all about reflecting, celebrating, appreciating how you all have spent your time with us. I think they're gorgeous.
Mhm.
Our team continues to surprise me and delight me, even though I know they're just incredibly talented, incredibly exciting artists. But the opportunity for us to share back, we see what you've done. We've been able to see your participation and share it, but also help you mark your path and your growth on your journey in Gotham City as a character, as a member of these crews. It makes me so happy that we can bring them to y'all and that they can connect to our experiences long term.
Okay, finally, the Legacy Cal crew.
Ooh.
Right, right.
So,
So,
so it's not just one crew.
ah, oh, okay. All right, that's the first
um,
one. Okay.
I mean, obviously, we have our base edition Legacy Cal up in the upper right. And of course, it is connected to the nefarious swarm of Legacy Cals duplicated that Harley Quinn stumbled across and stole that code from.
Mm-hmm.
But for you all as citizens of Gotham City, as members of crews, and even for those of you who aren't members of crews yet, strong recommend, but also like there are people out there who are collectors who aren't yet members of crews. If you have your base edition Legacy Cowl, you know, it's going to do something different than the ones that you overwrite in Overdrive that you're going to be able to access without fear of being hypnotized, that are going to be giving you those different types of clues in these limited edition collectible cowls that are going to tell you a different side of the story.
Okay. Yes, you did say that. Well, it was said that the safe mode will have clues. Now you
I mean,
won't get.
the whole point is that the back computer has taken a look at everything that you all as citizens have collected from those base editions, and it's connecting it to Overdrive so you can overwrite that system, and it'll have a new look and feel. It'll have different AR filters. It'll have a different access point in, but this is all part of the bigger story that is going to be defined by your votes. Our first vote for Legacy Cal content is coming up pretty soon. I think it's next week. And honestly, the community is going to have tremendous impact every time we have a vote on what the next collectibles will be, but also the path of the story, both in those collectibles and in your others.
Hmm. Overdrive patch 1.0.
Yeah, I mean, this is huge. Like you all collected these cowls, the back computer was able to look at them, and it's figured out how to take on that rogue AI for the first time. So, in Overdrive, it'll overwrite the cowl, give you a snapshot. But of course, the legacy cowl swarm is going to keep updating itself over time. So it's a limited opportunity to be able to use these to collect and to create these more limited edition versions.
And I guess finally, yeah, the safe mode, which is the
Um,
1 + 1 = 2, or
Absolutely. So this is going to be your first legacy cal that it's really going to be safe to put on. I would be very cautious as a citizen of Gotham City putting on a base edition because of course we know from Batman Legacy Cal the comics that it's
Makes you do
overtaken
things you
people's will
don't like.
before.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for that safe mode cowl, like it'll be safe to put on and your filters, and it'll give you a different insight into what was happening at the moment it was overwritten. So more is in store to be revealed, and honestly, based on your votes, it'll determine what that is. So we're really excited to be starting this community driven journey. We're really excited to show off the art of some of these components, some of which will be airdropped, some of which will be paid, but also to provide new clues, new puzzle pieces, new utterly gorgeous limited edition cowls that you all will get to share and celebrate in, but also to define the next steps in the story of the legacy cows in Gotham City, and Gotham City citizens stepping up to stand for justice and be part of that story together.
So the next three questions are optional. You can choose
Okay.
not to answer. And then people will tell me, Prez, why did you give her an option to go out? Well, that man, she's
I
the boss.
mean,
I don't make the
I
stuff. She can just leave, and I won't have this interview. So but
ask me
please,
questions. The worst thing that can happen is I won't be able to respond, and I'll tell you that because I'm not going to spoil this for you, and I'm
no.
not going to but
Okay,
bring them
all right.
on.
The next three. Okay, can the base cows affect crafting variants?
You're going to need a base cowl or a safe mode edition cowl to craft future limited edition variants. And of course, all of those, the base and the variant editions, will allow you access to the voting.
Okay.
So obviously, they're all nefarious base cowls that are going to be overwritten in overdrive. Um, the swarm is updating itself all the time.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay. That's nefarious.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm hitting the line where I'm like, what would be a spoiler and what
Yeah. I
would
mean.
get me in trouble? But
Hmm.
stay tuned.
Yeah. Okay.
Same bat Cal time, same bat Cal channel.
Can there be multiple versions of safe mode?
Okay. So this is me writing things down. The Safe Mode Edition cows will be their own collectible type,
Yeah.
but all of the limited edition cows based on these overdrive patches and based on the components revealed from your votes,
Mhm.
those will be safe mode, like as a concept. So
Right.
as you're moving ahead, anything you overwrite in overdrive, it's not going to have that hypnosis effect. It's not going to be connected to the swarm's feed the same way. So inside our narrative, all of the limited editions to come are going to be part of your efforts to overcome the legacy cow swarm and figure out how to stop it.
Okay. Finally, and I think I could stop sharing now. But finally, I think
Can
we'll talk we'll talk in a broad sense now. How much can our actions on the platform, not just voting, reflect any possible future? And I say possible because obviously future comics haven't been confirmed. When I say like results, as like for example, crafting, what we don't craft. I think you know where I'm going with this one.
I mean, yes. What we've worked on and what we're exploring with the Legacy Cal collection
Mhm.
is a lot more community input in the path of the story we're building together, the path of the collectibles that will be available as part of this experience, and all of it is part of this story world in Gotham City. So, without giving more detail on what's to come in terms of products, that's the plan.
Mhm. Okay, that's the I think in my opinion tougher questions done. But I think I would love to know more about again more about the story. So I hope we're gonna run over just an
Sure.
hour. So hopefully you'll be able
Yeah,
to.
I can stay for a couple more minutes, but then I actually have meetings about doing this stuff.
Sure,
So,
sure. So
yeah.
in your opinion, how do great stories take shape, and how long do they take to blossom? Because, for example, I feel like
Mhm.
legacy collection is
Yeah.
something that we have voted on, like how the shape looked like. In your opinion, how long does it take to actually, in your opinion?
Great stories can come from anywhere. They can begin anywhere. The time it takes for them to be realized in different artistic formats varies really wildly.
Hmm.
Like, there are great stories in tweets. There are great stories only ever told over a campfire. There are great stories constantly being told by people because we're really good at story. But in terms of the art of creating story worlds, um, you usually see a flourishing fairly early on in their first formats, being able to create something that a community truly loves, that you can see that they themselves want to be a part of, that they really want to see develop and grow and continue to be part of. That said, how long does it take to blossom? How long does it take to grow into different types of communities, different sizes of audiences, different scales of creative execution? That's a really big question that's different for every story world. Like, Batman is 85 years old this year. The first appearance was 85 years ago on March 30th. Um, it took decades for that to become television. I guess it was on the radio before that, but it takes a long time for stories to be able to grow into the shapes that you might want creative executions to be part of.
Hmm.
And things like canonicity, like whether or not it's part of canon,
I was asking.
is
Yeah.
determined by what people want to do with it long term, not short term.
Mhm.
For me as a creator, respecting this world that I'm inside that has hundreds, thousands of incredibly creative, talented people working on it means creating something that's really compelling. And I think this is. And then reducing all the barriers to playing and using with it as possible. And so the way that we're building out the story world, the way that we're being good partners to the other creators who are part of it sets it up to potentially grow into that in the future.
Mhm.
That said, it not only has to be exciting to us who are creating it in this, honestly, like, we've been running these programs since 2021, but 3 years is still a really short amount of time in story world land, in franchise development land, in that sort of thing. So we've been able to continue telling the story, continue growing it, testing it, learning on different formats and different platforms, and continue to grow it. And that's a really important start. As we continue to work on it, how it grows, what it grows into, like, I love the idea that historians from the future will look back on what we do and tell us what it was.
Uh-huh.
And
Because I was,
so,
I was gonna
like,
say,
I mean, oh
yeah.
man, can we play in the multiverse? It's a little bit like saying, like, can humans go to space? And I'm like, what if I told you you were in space right now?
Okay.
Um,
What I really wanted to ask here is,
mhm.
how far is DC going to allow us to make world shattering consequences or decisions, like the first time the viewers got to decide, does Robin live or die? And so far, the choices that we've had were light work. They weren't. No, but they weren't like, no characters been killed off. I'm
You
talking.
created a new supervillain.
No,
Like,
sure, sure,
is
but
that not enough?
that supervillain hasn't done any huge earth shattering things yet. Well, I guess that's
Just
the question
broken
I
into the
wanted to
systems
ask.
of Gotham City, shut down the Bat computer for the first time, and duplicated itself into thousands of units that you all are now working to take on. I The
Mm,
short answer to what will people let us do in the future is, what will people in the future want to do with it? Like, as we continue to grow this story together, as we continue to write it, as we continue to experience it in real time as it grows, um, again, we're reducing all of the barriers that could exist to creating more. If Grant Morrison woke up tomorrow and was like, I'm going to legacy Cal, let's all pray for that. You know,
No, no,
sure, yeah.
absolutely. Okay, no,
But
absolutely. Yeah.
but realistically, I can't tell you what DC creators are going to do in 5 years because they aren't
DC,
there yet.
if you're listening, DC, we in our multiverse, we would love to do some pretty
Uh,
big things and make pretty big decisions. That's like to be like crazy. This
so
is we could kill off
I
Batwoman or something, you know. But I'm just saying.
I will say again,
Hmm.
what we're doing now is still growing our story world. It's growing our stories together, and we're following the path of this new DC supervillain.
Okay.
And you all are getting to participate in that both directly in Gotham City, characterized, and through the community votes.
Hmm.
How that evolves over time, we have to evolve it over time. So, like, I can't say no or yes to any of that because
No.
that's the work that we are all doing together as creators and fans. Like,
Mm.
we get to play in Gotham City. I'm, I know that I had like a shocked Pikachu face when you said there
Hey,
wasn't an impact because
I'm just.
you all created this storyline.
I
You
I know,
determined
but
its
I'm just
path,
like
its themes,
I just
its
want to take
characters,
it.
everything about it.
Yeah.
And I know that you want to do more and be bigger. And I can't, and it's definitely not impossible. It's not out
No.
of the question, but realistically, like, this is what every creator who gets to work with Batman, who gets to work in Gotham City contends with. Because, like, yeah, sure, I'd like to define the future of the multiverse and decide exactly how everything is going to roll out over the next 10 years. I'd love to do that with you all until James Gunn hires me to do that.
And he will.
Like,
And he will.
it realistically,
James
like,
Gunn,
there are a
if you're
lot of great
watching.
stories, and this is a real DC story in the real DC universe and in its own corner of the multiverse where we get to do this together.
Absolutely.
And again, like, the impact of every one of these decisions, like, it it's sometimes easy for me to fall into the trap because I've seen and been a part of stories that have grown over decades.
Yeah, true.
Um,
Yeah.
just how much impact what seem like small decisions at the beginning of a story make.
Oh, okay.
As these things grow, the kinds of choices that were provided to Batcal holders about the very beginning, the kernel, the source of this story world, would be felt in anything that comes after that's part of the story that we're building together. Sometimes you see that and it feels great and you notice it, and you'll see some of those in the legacy count. But as it's growing, you find these echoes back. And it's totally different than it because it all grows in real time. As the creators of this universe with us, you're seeing it grow in real time.
Mhm.
It's like watching a child grow in many ways, where suddenly, like, someone pops up 5 inches in 6 weeks and they're very sore and grumpy, but oh my goodness, like, it's happening. And it seems like it took a very long time to happen, but a lot of it is slow and then it's very sudden.
Mhm.
So I can't promise what will happen in this story world next. What I can promise is the community has a voice in it.
Mhm.
We're finding all of the ways that we think are exciting and novel and practical to invite you in, not only to the narrative, but the structure of the features and programs that we're creating. And as long as there are interested fans and interested creators, we're going to be able to keep growing it.
Mhm.
Even if things were to stop, it will exist for someone to look at 5, 10 years from now and say, yeah, that was really interesting. I want to make this with it.
Mhm.
Or, someone can pick it up and feel inspired, and then it can become something else.
Mhm.
Like, it is important for us to recognize, like, the short-term impacts of things and what is exciting now, and like that everything that you're participating with us on, whether it's getting a collectible or spending time talking about it or spending time on a vote and thinking about it, that has to be exciting and interesting and engaging.
No,
If it's not, then like,
no,
well,
it definitely, oh, it
yeah,
100% is. I was just, I guess,
but
just
like,
the legacy cow came over me. It was like he wants to actually destroy things. But I think what I was gonna say was, I just maybe just
mhm,
finish up. I was gonna ask you
yeah.
three things. Like, what can we look forward to this year? What are you most excited about? Do you have any last words for the community and what we can look forward to? But
Oh,
really, in essence, it's more like, have we just scratched? Tell us that. I want you to tell me that we've just scratched the surface of the back out, purely because you'll hear it everywhere, when bat
oh,
suits, when batmobiles, when the GCDK get more equipment. Those kind of things
sure.
are like dying to come out before you leave, and then when you leave, people are like, Caitlin,
So
what's gonna happen?
no, a lot has changed since we started the program. That said, we have just scratched the surface of what we're going to be able to do in this story world, in these programs, in this experience. Um, it will change, and you will like some things more than others over time, and that's true for everyone involved, me included.
Mhm.
There are some things that we would love to work on sooner rather than later, or opportunities that we just can't pursue right this second, but are still good, and we still want to bring them to the community. But this other thing has to take priority. That said, there's so much fun we are going to have as we continue to build this universe, as we continue to build this story, as we continue to add new collectible types to the whole system, and honestly, as we get more creators involved. So it's something that
Just scratch my nose
I
there.
am most excited about, the ways that we're going to be able to bring the community into the creative development of the story and the collectibles this year.
Mhm.
I am incredibly excited to be continuing our journey with Cruise, to be able to continue our journeys in Gotham City together, with the Legacy Cowl and this really big story that we're building together about this rogue AI and all of its swarms, duplicates in Gotham City,
Oh,
and
I cannot wait.
choosing again, what path am I going to follow? How is this gonna put out? Like, there are things I can't speak to because I don't know the answer because you all haven't voted yet.
Mhm.
So there are
Absolutely.
things that I can't speak to about the forward motion of the platform, the forward motion of what we pursue, because you all haven't voted on it yet. You all haven't been asked questions about it, and you will be. um, that is super exciting to me. The back halls are always going to be an access point into this world and always have fan features connected to them. It's sort of like every year when we look back at what's come before and what's going to come next, is an incredibly exciting like moment of reflection. But it also reflects all of the things that we've been working on to date. Everything that's gone into these collectibles has a future in the story, has a future in the experiences we're building. Um, in terms of showing off rewards and ranks and things on platform. We have more tools that we're working on for that, starting with achievements. We also, there are some sorts of mechanics and features that are conducive to the kind of co-creative and community sharing that we are prioritizing, and others that might come later or as part of different challenges. So it's there's so much fun. There's so much exciting stuff that we're working on. There's so much exciting stuff that we are discussing and continuing to discuss. And realistically, the most exciting part of that is that we're going to continue to be finding ways to bring the community into that development on Candy,
Mhm.
into the development of the experiences, into the feature development. And, not everything happens 100% of the time on the timelines we want it to. I always am a little frustrated if we've indicated something and then it's like, oh no, this other thing that is so important to us to come first.
Literally, like,
Yeah.
literally, I pinched my nose so hard, like it's left the red line here. That's
Oh
how. That's how I was like, ah, I need to get this point across. But I think, I mean, is there
no.
anything else that you wanted to say? I know that we've over hit the mark, but
Oh, I mean,
you know, um,
I'll come back sooner. A lot of the time since we last did a direct conversation like this has been me really heads down,
mhm,
working Legacy Cal, working on things I can't talk about yet, working with DC and DC artists and creators on things that you'll learn about soon.
mm,
But in practice, um, I can never say it enough.
mhm,
Thank you all to the members of the community, to the fans, to the folks who continue to be part of these experiences with us. The fact that you are willing and interested in voting and participating in the development of these worlds, in the story and being part of it with us really means that we're doing something exciting, special, and worth doing.
mhm.
It really does get us up and get us into work every day, even when we're dealing with difficult technical, creative, or strategic questions, to know how much you all enjoy and care about the future of this program.
Absolutely,
Um,
absolutely.
it could,
Story driven collectibles are my favorite thing ever since this project has come out, and
um,
nothing is the same for me. But yeah, go ahead. Correct. Continue.
no, I just truly thank you all so much. We will be sharing more ways for you all to contribute directly to the program processes, the story and experience processes. I always appreciate you inviting me onto sessions prez. Um, Muchos
Thank
besos a mis amigos primos. The secret ingredient for me talking more is inviting me to do it. I'm Caitlin underscore Burns on X Twitter. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Mastodon. I'm on Blue Sky. I work very hard, and I work all the time that I'm not doing stuff that is the most important stuff in the world to me. So, the secret ingredient to getting me onto a conversation is to invite me and to plan ahead. I really appreciate those of you who do invite me to things, and I'm always open to it. And I'll be really clear, like when I will actually be available, and also what I can and can't talk about. Because again, I want to make sure that I'm being respectful to you all who are hotly anticipating really cool stuff coming, and also all of the people who are working incredibly hard and carefully to bring it to life. So, do reach out. Let me know when something's going on. I always appreciate hearing from folks. I might not respond immediately because I'll be like writing something important that you like or hopefully like. But again, thank you all to those of you who came here today, who stayed up late, who are waking up early, also who are watching at home because you're interested. Um, these programs exist because we want to build something that truly celebrates fans and something that is creating with the voice of the community of people who love it. That is why I'm doing this. And it's why most of us are doing this work together, bringing the best, most exciting, most compelling fan experiences to life. And the opportunity to work with the incredible creators at Warner Brothers Discovery and DC is huge. It's
you.
thanks to you. And again, we're really excited to hear from you. And you'll hear more ways that we're going to ask you to give us feedback or invite you to be part of these conversations in the near future. Meanwhile, I'm really excited for Batman Year One. First drop just launched yesterday. Those four issues are amazing works of comic art. The Legacy Cowl, of course, is live. You still have until next week to craft your safe mode edition Legacy Cowls, and your first vote on the future of the narrative, experiences, and collectibles for the Legacy Cowl will be coming up next week. That'll be a specific choice for citizens of Gotham City to make that'll have an impact on what you see coming in May. And yeah, I can't wait to kick off BatCal 2-year anniversary season. That's coming later this month. So stay
Wow.
tuned.
Stay tuned. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. And yeah, I'll see you on the other side. Thank you so much. That's a great
Have a great
session.
weekend. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Talk to you more soon.
Thank you. Bye.